Welcome to the Sporty Sibling Podcast,
where we score touchdowns and make baskets.
To Trier. Trier drives down and throws it down. Alonzo Trier.
Today they're gonna match off and talk about
Welcome to the latest episode of the Sporty Sibling Podcast, where we dive deep into the biggest headlines in sports. And this week, or to this half of the week, we gotta talk about the ESPYs. I mean, we gotta pick the winners of each candidacy, and each nomination, and see who we're right or we're wrong. I mean, I think I'm pretty good at picking winners, so I like this. But please, get ready to unleash your sports passion with the Sporty Sibling Podcast. Now, Panda, take us to our first topic. Thank you so much for that, Panda. So, this first nomination here for the ESPYs is the best athlete in men's sports. Okay? So, let's talk about the nominees. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do the whole transition. It takes too long, bores you guys anyways. But, so number one, we have Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets. We know what he did with Denver, how he won an MVP. He was just great in the finals, won the finals MVP, and it's just humble as hell. Aaron Judge, New York Yankees. I mean, he set records for home runs last year, and he's on pace to do it again this year. And of course, he plays for a legendary franchise like the Yankees. Then you have Patrick Mahomes, who single-handedly reimagined what a quarterback is in the NFL. Amazing, right? And then, of course, arguably the greatest soccer player to play the game in Lionel Messi, finally winning it all last summer in the World Cup. So again, ladies and gentlemen, who's my pick? Yeah, you guessed it. It's Lionel Messi. I mean, I'm sorry. Nothing against Patrick Mahomes, but he's still not the greatest quarterback to ever play the game like Tom Brady. He's getting there. I think he's going to be... He's the only quarterback currently that I see that can even surpass or be close to surpassing Tom Brady. But I've yet to see what he can do without the talented roster that he has, or when something just that doesn't go right happens. Aaron Judge, he doesn't have a World Series in this situation. He's a great athlete, but he needs to get there. He needs to get to the pinnacle of the MLB and win it to be even considered that. Now, I had to choose between Nikola and Lionel Messi. It's like, well, which one could it be? Nikola, it did something amazing. He went from this fat little kid to an NBA champion. No, he helped the Denver Nuggets build a team that can consistently make it to the finals and consistently win. On top of that, he helped the Denver Nuggets be the only second ABA team to win an NBA championship, the Spurs being the first. So, why did I pick Lionel Messi? Simple. He won the pinnacle of sports. I mean, the World Cup, to me, is the greatest championship to win in all of sports. Second only to a Olympic medal. Why? Because most athletes don't get to participate in the World Cup. Most soccer players, both men and women, don't get more than 2, maybe 3 World Cups. So some of these women that are like Megan Rapinoe, who's now retiring, that has played in 5 World Cups, that's insane. No, and in men's, I mean, Lionel Messi played, I believe, in 5 as well, and that's crazy. And to make it and to win as many times as they have in the World Cup, and to finally make it and finally win it after being this close, yeah, I have to go with with Lionel Messi. Now, don't get me wrong. Nikola was a close one to me simply because of what he was able to build in Denver and what the future lies for him with Denver moving forward. But as of this year, as of 2023, Lionel Messi is for me. But let's go on to the next nomination. Number 2 is the best athlete in women's sports. Now, we have Michaela Sharif in alpine skiing, who won an astonished 82 Alpine World Cup matches, or skiing, I don't know what they're called, but 82, that's freaking, and counting, mind you, she's still going. You got Sophia Smith of the Portland Thorns, who's in the WNBA, and it's, I mean, watching her play is just, it's just, you know, you got Iga, and I'm gonna butcher her name, but Swiatek out of tennis. Unfortunately, did just lose in the tennis tournament they just had. I can't think of the name of it, and no, but still, she's still one of the greatest to play it. And then, of course, you got A'ja Wilson from the Las Vegas Aces. I mean, she's really freaking good. And that got me to thinking, well, who should I pick? I mean, I don't know much about alpine skiing, but I know skiing is hard. You know, but I don't know much about Michaela Sharif, okay? So, and I can't sit here and say that, hey, is it hard, is it to make that, considering that not many people play this sport. So, I counted her out. Then I had between the last 3 ladies, Sophia, Iga, and A'ja. No, of course, I took out Iga because she's just getting older in age, and I feel like as much as she's still one of the best to play the sport, to me, she's just not the best anymore. I think there were a lot of better women tennis players out there to be put on this list if we were picking just tennis alone. So to me, it's just not that she doesn't deserve to be one of the best, because she is. Just this year, I felt like there was more players out there. Now you have obviously between Sophia Smith and A'ja Wilson. Now, where could you go? You can't go, you know, you can't think, you know, the what she's doing, what Sophia Smith is with the Portland Thorns is amazing. What A'ja Wilson has done with the Las Vegas Aces is amazing. I mean, you can't go wrong with either pick. But of course, we had to pick one, and I had to pick one. So I kind of just flipped the coin, and I went with the most recent champion, and I went with A'ja Wilson. I think she's a great athlete overall. I will add that A'ja Wilson's a little more defined as a player than Sophia Smith, but in any day, Sophia Smith can easily overpass A'ja like that, with ease. And same with A'ja. On a single day, she can be way better than Sophia. I think if any team could pray to have these 2 women in their team, yeah, it's over. They're winning the WNBA championship. No questions asked. But let's go on to the next nomination. Now we have the best breakthrough athlete, and you have the list of freaking amazing players. I mean, athletes that are just like, yeah, this is a hard one, and it was a hard one. So first we have Caitlin Clark from the Iowa women's basketball team. We saw what she did in the tourney. Okay? I'm a big fan of Caitlin Clark. And it was just like, I want her jersey. Brock Purdy from the San Francisco 49ers. Mr. Irrelevant, who helped the 49ers make it to the NFC Championship. And in truly, had they been healthier, they would have beaten the Eagles. And me as a Cowboys fan, I'm not hating. I'm just saying they were the better team. Angel Reese, LSU women's basketball game. She the Barbie, man. She the Barbie. And them hoops. Woo! And then, of course, Julio Rodriguez, Seattle Mariners. Can't get any better than him. He's just banging away the dome home runs. I mean, honestly, I think he bringing him in and getting him for Seattle was the best thing they could have done. And the Seattle Mariners are just a completely different team with him on the roster. But of course, you have to pick them. You have to say which one was the best breakout talent. Now, I took out Julio Rodriguez simply because, although he's great, he's still a bit inconsistent, so I wouldn't call him a true breakout athlete. Then, of course, I took out Brock Purdy next because he didn't play the full season. He only played, I believe, was like 5-6 games, including not including the playoffs. I'm sorry. So, really, we really didn't get to see what he's about. And to me, it was kind of one of those things where it was like, it went 50-50. And then now, of course, we had Caitlin Clark against Angel Reese. They played each other in the championship game for the women's basketball title. Caitlin Clark was a menace on the court. Angel Reese was a menace herself on the court. They were both just, oh my God, just the best players, arguably. And I went back and forth. Well, Caitlin Clark does this better than Angel Reese. Angel Reese does this better than this. But the one thing that actually my sister was the one that said, hey, you need to go back and look at this. Go back and look at the matchup in the championship. See how well they did. See how they played against each other. And that answered my question. Angel Reese is the winner for the best breakthrough athlete this year. She handily, easily stopped Caitlin Clark in her dominance. Had Angel Reese not been there to stop Caitlin Clark, Iowa would have taken the title. Easy. Without a doubt. Angel Reese helped make up that LSU women's team, balance out and open things up for everybody while making the defensive stops. So, Angel Reese, you're my winner here. Let's go on to the next one. Best record-breaking performance. Now, this one was hard. I will admit that. So you have Novak Djokovic wins his 23rd Grand Slam title. Nope. Him defeating Casper Ruud in the French Open final was just amazing. No, he broke the tie with Rafael Nadal for most singles trophies in the history of men's tennis, which of course dates back to the 1800s, but nobody cares about that. LeBron James surpasses Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for NBA scoring record. Again, another good one. Michaela Sharif breaks the record for the most World Cup victories with her 87th win. Okay? And I mentioned that earlier. Why? She's freaking amazing for that. Max Verstappen wins the Mexican Grand Prix, breaking the record for most wins in a season. Okay? So, first and foremost, I already took out Max Verstappen for most wins in a season because that was his own record. Not saying that it was not a record to be broken. It's not amazing to do that. But he's breaking his own record. To me, it's not that big of a deal. Next, I took out LeBron James surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for NBA career and scoring record. That's a longevity record. He's been playing since he was 18 years old. There's no hecking way that he wasn't going to eventually break this record. Now, somebody say, blah, 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 blah. It's all 1, 2, 3, all these other things. But in reality, it's exactly what it is. It's a longevity record. Eventually, you're going to make enough points to score. And I mean, he's still one of the best basketball players. So, arguably, not my thing. Then, of course, I had left between Michaela Sharif and Novak Djokovic. So, I kind of went back and forth. Because, again, Sharif breaking the record for most World Cup victories with her 87th win is amazing. To make it to her World Cup in alpine skiing alone 1, 2, 3 times is amazing. But to win 87 times, to win one time is great. to make it there one time, but to make it enough times to win. Meaning that she did not just win in the first round. She went all the way through. She had to go out to at least a championship game to be able to win as many as 87 wins. That's something. That's crazy wins. But then you look at the same thing with Novak Djokovic, winning his 23rd Grand Slam title. Okay? That's not an easy thing. Remember, this titles, and he won it at the French Open final, which it's really kind of like, I wish he would have won at like the Masters or something, but either ways. But he passed Rafael Nadal, which arguably is still considered one of the greatest tennis players, and everybody was, well, who's better, Nadal or Djokovic? Now he kind of settled that and say Djokovic is officially better than Nadal. And mind you, this is something that has been going on since the 1800s. Tennis has been going on for a long time. And to say he's the only one to do 23rd Grand Slams, that's a lot. That's saying a lot. So for this, I kind of just tossed a coin and came out with Novak Djokovic winning his 23rd Slam title for my winner here. So, yeah, I think that's fair, but you couldn't go with picking either of the two. Next one, we have the best championship performance. And now this one wasn't as hard as people think, because when you're listening to them, it's really going to be between two, and you already know who I'm going to pick. So, Leon Edwards, UFC, he defeated Kamaru Usman by 5th round KO to win the UFC welterweight title, handing Usman win his first UFC loss. Okay? Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets in his 2023 MVP Finals performance, which was great. Lionel Messi in Argentina in the 2022 World Cup, who scored 2 goals and scored in the penalty shootout to win Man of the Match and won the Gold Ball as FIFA's best player of the tournament and won that World Cup title finally. And lastly, Roshan LPGA defeating Jennifer Kupcho in a 2-hole sudden death playoff, making history by winning and by becoming the first woman in 72 years to win her first professional title. So, I can tell this right now, I took at the UFC one right off the bat. I watched that fight. I was actually under Kamaru's side. I thought he should have won. That KO was a little bit of a bullshit to me. I feel like Leon did just, I'm not going to say he cheated, but he kind of took advantage of a weak point that Kamaru, should have seen and actually tried to do, and it just kept going. So I'm not a big fan of that one. I took out Roshan only because, although it is a great win, I cannot sit here and arguably say, hey, this was the best performance because I didn't watch it. Okay, all the other 3 I was able to watch, and I did try to go back and watch Roshan's performance, but because I don't know enough about golf, I cannot sit here and say, hey, this was the best performance. But I want everyone to understand this. Her performance, it's still arguably one of the, her winning and becoming the first woman in 70 years to win her first professional title is still something that we should praise, because that's not easy to do. So then next, I have Djokovic or Lionel Messi. Of course, I took out Djokovic because of the simple fact that this was for this year, but what he's built for the future means more. But what's left, y'all know it. Lionel Messi in Argentina winning the World Cup. Of course, his performance in the World Cup was short of static. Number one, he took France and he dominated the game in the first half by doing exactly what they needed to do: score and stay in the offensive, and then stay on the defensive side. In the second half, they faced turmoil when France decided to come back and say, well, you know what? No, we're gonna make this into a shootout, which is rare to see in the World Cup, as we know. But it happens, as we saw. His ability to stay solid, knowing that he's been here before, knowing how close he's been to to winning it all and losing it all, means a lot. And him making it and scoring not only 2 goals, but scoring that penalty goal to really solidify that win. It's just, the performance was great. It's exactly what they needed and exactly what they got from Lionel Messi. So that's my winning one. So, Panda, next one. Next is the best comeback athlete. Now, this one was hard. I will admit that, because there were a lot of good ones. So, first, we have Justin Verlander, who's with the Mets and the Astros, and in the 2022 he won the 2022 National League Comeback Player of the Year after being limited to only 6 innings in 2020 and missing the entire 21 season due to surgery. Nope, he was, when returning to the Astros, he went 18-for-4 with a 1.75 ERA, which is the lowest by any AL pitcher since Pedro Martinez did it in 2000 with a 1.174. So, that's pretty crazy, right? Then you have Elisa Thompson from the Connecticut Suns. She won the 22 WNBA Comeback Player of the Year. Thomas missed all but 6 games last season while recovering from a torn Achilles tendon, which that shit hurts. I've had that and it hurts. The 8-year veteran has started all 36 of Connecticut's games in 2022 and was an all-star earlier this season. She led the team in assists with 6.1, steals 1.7, and minutes played in 32.1. Yeah, it gets better though. Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets. Murray missed the entirety of the last season due to a torn ACL in his left knee. He suffered the injury in the game against Golden State on April 12th and didn't play in the 18 months since then till now, and we saw what they did together. And of course, you got John Jones, UFC. Jones' first fight in UFC since 2020. He was last seen in action against Dominic Reyes, where he defended his light heavyweight championship in UFC 247. While John Jones was plotting to move to a heavyweight division, he and the UFC president did not see eye to eye over the fighter pay. Jones felt that he needed to be paid more for a move up to the heavyweight division, which resulted in him delaying his return. Now, when we're looking at the comeback athlete, it's somebody that suffered something huge, recovered, and now came back and did something amazing. John Jones only delayed his return because of money. So to me, boom, out, done. He's no longer in my possession. I don't care about that. Your ass is too stupid to realize, hey, you love the sport more than the money, or the money more than the sport. No, just because you're in that bigger weight class doesn't mean you're going to get paid more. That's not how it always happens. Earn your keep in that heavyweight class, then you can talk, okay? Shut the fuck up, go fight. Next, you got Justin Verlander. Now this one, I'm going to take him off just for being salty. He shouldn't have left the Astros to the Mets. He was looking for money at that situation. And yes, I'm going to be salty. And I'm okay with that. I don't care what anyone says. I will be freaking salty about this. And I'm okay with that. I am 100% okay with being that salty. Then you have Elisa Thompson from the Connecticut Suns and Jamal Murray. Both are arguably the comeback players of the years for the NBA and WNBA. Elisa Thompson's career has been amazing. She's a pitiable part of the Connecticut Suns team. Okay, no one can argue that with me. But as well as Jamal Murray, him and Djokovic Or did I say his name wrong already? No, Jokic. Oops, sorry, Jokic. Yes, I did say his name wrong. Him and Jokic have been just great. They've meshed together so well, and honestly, I think if Jamal Murray was healthy last year, they probably would have won the title last year, but they came back this year and just gelled together. So I really didn't know who to pick in this situation. I think they're both great. What came down to it is simply this. What did they do at the end of it all? Jamal Murray won the title over Alyssa Thompson, and that's what got it. It was this much, ladies and gentlemen, this much. But Jamal Murray is my winner in this situation. Let's go to the next one. Best play of the year. This one wasn't as hard as you think it was, but I did enjoy it. So you got Michael Block's holding one in golf. Justin Jefferson with the catch of the century in the NFL. Allie Lemons with the perfect corner to tie the national championship game in NCAA. And, yes, Trinity Thomas, perfect 10-time, the all-time NCAA record in the NCAA. But if you're not picking this woman, you're an idiot. Because as much as I like a hole-in-one, if you practice enough, I'm sure you can get it. Justin Jefferson has done many catches, and although I do agree that his catch was a hell of a catch, he can keep doing it. But Trinity Thomas getting a perfect 10, which arguably is one of the hardest things in gymnastics to do. But not only that, to get so many that she breaks the all-time record. How can you not pick her? How can you not? The only person in this list that I could say that deserves it more, it's Messi in the World Cup. And that's only because he's been at so many times that eventually it's kind of his now. But simple. Trinity Thomas deserves to win the best play. Her performance was perfect. You need to go back and watch it and see. Because there's no way that her performance was better than anyone else's here. I'm sorry. It wasn't. It was just, honestly, when I watched it, I had to go back and rewatch it just to understand how good it was. Because I watched the replays, for it when they were talking about it and how she did it, and I was like, oh wow, that's really good, oh wow. So then I went back and watched it, and I was like, holy crap, that's freaking, she deserved the 20, not a 10, a 20. Then now when I'm doing back in the research and watching all these things, I was like, okay, and I was actually going to pick Allie Lemons until I saw that they had her on the list. And I was like, nope. So when I saw the list, I was like, when I saw it back again, and nope, I went, yep, I'm going to go back and watch it. And sure enough, solidified my answer even more. Because at 10, I mean, you see these girls, these women that are Olympic gymnasts, and they never get a 10. Some of these women that are winning gold medals can go their whole lives without getting a 10. Much less enough to tie an all-time record. And this young woman, Trinity Thomas, did it like that. I mean, she's the next Simone Biles, in my opinion. And I love Simone Biles. I think she's freaking amazing. But Trinity Thomas is my winner. Let's go on to the next one. Best team. I'm not even going to get into it. I'm just going to tell you the nominees first. You got the Denver Nuggets. You got the Georgia Bulldogs. You got the Kansas City Chiefs. You got the Las Vegas Aces. You have the Louisiana State Tigers, NCAA Women's Basketball. You got the Oklahoma Sooners, NCAA Softball. And the Vegas Knights, NHL. So, each one of these has arguably been one of the best. All have won a championship. So, when you're looking at the best teams, you got to look at a certain criteria. Okay. Have they won a championship? Well, Vegas Knights just won one. Oklahoma Sooners won their another softball title. LSU won their basketball title. The Aces won the WNBA. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs. Bulldogs repeated, and we saw what the Denver Nuggets did in the playoffs. Okay, so check. Now, did they have players that were so good that they went on to play in professional sports? Or I should say, more specific, did they have a transcendent player? Well, Denver has Nikola Jokic. The Bulldogs, I believe, just had a bunch of NFL talent. The Aces were just so good that I think they're going to repeat this year. The LSU Tigers had a bunch of women, and they went into the WNBA. The Sooners were so good that they came back. They came back and won it again. And the Knights were so good that they made it in their inaugural season and now won it this season. So yeah, they all had players that were memorable. But here is where things differ. Did they go? How many? Is this the second time coming back to the playoffs? Or is this the first time? Well, then that takes out that takes out the Aces because they weren't here in 2021. Neither was LSU. Kansas City as well, because it's not the back-to-back. And neither was the Denver Nuggets. That leaves Georgia Bulldogs and the Oklahoma Sooners. Not that any of the other teams don't perfect it, but it is what it is. Then you got Georgia Bulldogs, who won last year and this year in the NCAA football. Had a record-breaking performance. And same thing with the Oklahoma Sooner, who won it 3 years in a row. But Georgia did not have what the Oklahomers did have. They had a record 53-game win streak and finished the season 61-1 en route to winning their 7th national title and becoming only the second team to three-peat since UCLA did it in 1988 to 1990. Yeah. Of course, I went with the Oklahoma Sooners in the NCAA softball. You're telling me that in over 30 years, no one three-peated until these women did it. I love Georgia, and I think they're going to do great next year as well. And I think they're the next dynasty. But three-peating for the first time in 30 years with a 53-game win streak, which is a record. I mean, if they don't deserve it, then I don't know who deserves it. Just give it to freaking the Browns. No? Or somebody else. I don't care. Because they deserve it. Let's go on to the next one. Best college athlete in men's sports. So, you have Zach Edney, men's Purdue basketball. You have Duncan McGuire, Creighton soccer. Brandon O'Neal, Duke lacrosse. And, of course, Caleb Williams in the USC football. So, this one was pretty easy, only because of the flare-up that this player is getting. I mean, he's being compared as arguably the next coming of Jesus Christ. No, he's so good that in his prospective sport, he's going to be drafted first overall, no matter what. Teams are going to tank for him because it's like, we want him. No, he's the next coming of Jesus Christ, and he's gonna change our team to become a championship winning team overnight. He's being compared to an MVP, Super Bowl MVP, and 2-time Super Bowl winner. He's being compared to as arguably the greatest prospect of our current generation, above players like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson, and many others who are arguably Hall of Fame or will be Hall of Fame candidates in the future. But who am I talking about? Caleb Williams. He's my winner for the best college athlete simply because of this hype. They're going to pick him. Nothing against his other athletes who I'm sure are great at their sports. And I know I've seen Zach Edney play, and he's great. I think he deserves it more than Caleb Williams. But Caleb Williams is going, because of this hype, they're going to give him this award. I mean, they're literally saying he's better than Patrick Mahomes coming out of college. He's better than Tom Brady. He's going to, whichever team gets him, will become the next Chiefs. That's how good they're talking about it. But people are giving him all this credit when in reality it's like, okay, that's great, but Patrick Mahomes is not just Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is good because he has teams around, people around him, players around him, coaching staff around him. Caleb Williams is as good as the people around him. So I don't know, but that's who I think is going to win it. And let's be serious, the hype it's always there. But next one, best college athlete in women's sport. Of course, you got Jordan Ball, Oklahoma softball, which was a great pick. Caitlin Clark, Iowa men's basketball, another great pick. Isaiah Zane, saying, sorry, I butchered her name. I tried to learn it. I did. Northwestern lacrosse, and Trinity Thomas, Florida Gator gymnastics. Now, I went back and looked at Easy Zane's lacrosse videos. Okay, I don't know much about her, so I wanted to go back and learn. And I was like, okay, yeah, she could have she's well deserved to be in this category. But I ended up not choosing her. I felt like the other women were much better. So, boom, she was out. Then I said, well, let's go look at Jordy Ball's performance in Oklahoma football, who she helped bring Oklahoma softball, at their third national championship, first one since UCLA in the 1988 to 1990, a record 53 wins, and then ending their regular season with a 61-1 record, which was amazing. But was her performance as good as Caitlin Clark's or Trinity Thomas? And I said, no, it's not. It's great, but is it the best? No. So then I went back and I looked at Caitlin Clark's performance through the NCAA basketball tournament, and I was like, oh, that's Caitlin Clark right there if I seen one anywhere, because damn, she was good. But it came to the championship game, and she was lackluster at best. When it counted it, she wasn't the best she could be. Now, that's when I went back and said, well, Jordan Ball did have her bad days and good days. But Caitlin Clark had less bad days than Ball, and that's what made the difference. But I still didn't pick Caitlin Clark. You guessed it. Yes, I picked Trinity Thomas in gymnastics simply because if you go back and look at all her performances as a gymnast, they've been so good and consistently being good. I mean, I can't take away for understanding when it comes to the nuances of gymnastics when little things count as points, such as the way you're dressed, your look, meaning your makeup, your hair, the music, your hand movements while you're just standing there. I can't speak for that because to me that shouldn't be a thing. I mean, you should be able to go out there naked, and as long as everything else works, it to me seems a lot more important. I mean, some of these tumbles and flips that these women are doing are just freaking amazing. I mean, I couldn't even do it. I mean, even if in a trampoline, I probably couldn't do it anymore. Maybe in my heyday when I was younger in trampoline, sure, but in a flat surface like they do, yeah, no. So Trinity Thomas taking it like the way she did and then getting a perfect score for an all-time NCAA record, yeah, she's the best athlete in women's sports. But let's go to the next one. Best athlete with a disability. Now, I do not know anything about special sports, such as for people with disabilities. So I had to go back and make astonishing research, and I spent almost a full day trying to understand the differences in each sport and what could make each one better. Okay, so you have Erica McKee in the sled hockey team, Zach Miller snowboarding, Aaron Pike wheelchair racing and cross country skiing, and Suzette Scaroni wheelchair racing. So all these athletes are playing their sport with special devices, changing it up, things like that. Okay? I actually ended up picking Aaron Pike because wheelchair racing and cross-country skiing is what gave it away for me. When I went back, wheelchair racing is pretty much what you think. No, it's not really anything fancy. It's what it is. Okay? It's wheelchairs in track and road races. I mean, come on. I don't know what what more I can say about that, right? It was like that was a tongue twister. But cross-country skiing is a form of skiing where skiers travel snow-covered terrain without the use of ski lifts or other assistances, such as sled dogs, things of that sort. So normally you see when the people go like like that, and they go distances. So I picked Aaron Pike because the fact that he can go from doing this in a wheelchair to doing it in the snow, where arguably your materials can break like this because of the weather, because in the snow you're not just thinking about the cold, but you're thinking about the water that the snow leaves behind, the mud, the rocks that are hiding. I mean, wheelchair racing is just basically a flat top. You see it, you go, boom. I mean, it's nothing fancy, you know. And I mean, the most that could happen is you you don't tighten something up, you lose something, or you hit somebody. It kind of like that. Like it's nothing too. It's demanding, but not as demanding as all the challenges you face in cross-country skiing. Alone, somebody that does not have any kind of disabilities and it's an athlete in cross-country skiing has to battle the weather, the nature, and so much more. And then you add a disability that might have to require them to have a specialty wheelchair made that could easily break and then may not be easily fixed. It's just to a whole nother level. So, Aaron Pike, you're my winner for Best Athlete with a Disability. And you have all my respect for being able to do that sport because, yeah, I know for a fact I would never be able to do that. This next one are just the best players in their respective sports. So we're going to go kind of fast with it, but not too fast. Just regular speed, But best NFL player, you have Nick Bosa, San Francisco 49ers, Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia Eagles, Justin Jefferson, Minnesota Vikings, and Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, you have to go with the next coming of Jesus Christ in Patrick Mahomes, two-time Super Bowl winner, two-time and Super Bowl MVP, MVP winner, and of course, the next coming of Jesus Christ. So, yeah, I had to pick him. Next, we have the best MLB player. We have Paul Goldschmidt, St. Louis Cardinals, Aaron Judge, New York Yankees, Shohei Ohtani, the Los Angeles Angels, and Justin Verlander, Houston Astros, or now New York Mets. And of course, you have to go with Shohei Ohtani. Come on. He's the best hitter and pitcher in the MLB right now. And he's helping lead the Angels to the best record in MLB. Sure, now he's hurt too, and there's a whole nother hoopla about that. But still, he's still one of the greatest to do it. So, yeah, that's my pick. Next. Best NHL player. Jonathan Marchessault, Vegas Golden Knights. Connor McDavid, Edmonton Oilers. David Pastrnak, Boston Bruins, and Linus Ullmark in the Boston Bruins as well. Now, this was easy. Easy. Jonathan Marchessault. Yeah. Was the easiest pick for me. He was a core piece for the Golden Knights offense, and without him, I do not see the team making the Stanley Cup in their inaugural season or winning it. But without him, they would not have been able to. But with him, they were able to come back and win the Cup in 2023. Now, to boost, he also won the MVP of the game, also making him one of the first undrafted free agents to win the MVP and for the Stanley Cup Finals. Sorry, mix my words there. But yeah, he was the best player. Next one, it's the NBA players. Best NBA players. You got Jimmy Butler, Miami Heat, Joel Embiid, Philadelphia 76ers, Nikola Jokic, Denver Nuggets, and Jason Tatum in Boston Celtics. So, this one was hard because I had Joel Embiid won the MVP. Jimmy Butler is pivotal to the Miami Heat, and Nikola Jokic, well, we know what he did in the championship. Jason Tatum was out for me. I think he's a great player. Not there yet, though. I actually gave it to Jimmy Butler as the best NBA player because of what he means to the Heat. Okay? Nothing against the Joker or Joel Embiid. I think they're both excellent players, but Joel Embiid, to me, he's great. He has the talent. Finally won an MVP, but he's not the best. Nikola Jokic has solidified his MVP performance with the championship and finals MVP. I think he's no longer in the best discussion. He is Hall of Fame discussion now. No, it's what can he do now to get to the Hall of Fame. We're done. We know he's one of the best. That conversation's done. Let's go to the next one. So all that's left is really Jimmy Butler. I think he can be into that next Hall of Fame discussion if he can get to that championship. But something about what he's doing that, I don't know if it's him or if it's the team or what is going on, but he's such a pivotal part for the Miami Heat that I just had to give it to him. Of course, now we go to the best WNBA player. We have Skylar Diggins-Smith in Phoenix Mercury, Candace Parker, Chicago Sky, but actually currently with the Las Vegas Aces, Brianna Stewart, Seattle Storm, but now she's with the New York Liberty, and Nicole Aja Wilson, Las Vegas Aces. Not even a discussion. Aja Wilson is my pick. Like I said from the beginning, she's just phenomenal. Plain and simple, phenomenal. Best drivers, you got Brittany Force, NHRA, Kyle Larson, NASCAR, Joseph Newgarden, IndyCar, and Max Verstappen, F1. I give it to Max Verstappen because of what he did in beating his own record of most win in racing. I mean, it was plain and simple. Best UFC fighter, Leon Edwards, John Jones, Islam Makhachev, and Amanda Nunes. I went with Amanda Nunes because, goddamn, I am physically both attracted to her and fear her at the same time. It's one of those, like, I want to kiss you, but I'm afraid you're going to kick my ass kind of things. On top of that, she's just one of the best female UFC fighters that I have ever seen, only behind Ronda Rousey. And I firmly believe that she could kick every one of these guys' asses without even trying. I firmly believe it. I think that's how good she is. That's why she wins it for me. Best boxer, you got Gervonta Davis, David Haney, Clarence Shield, and Shakur Stevenson. I really don't watch boxing, guys. So I kind of just went eeny, meeny, miny, mo on here. And I picked Devin Haney. Yeah, that's just the truth. I'm not going to try to lie to you guys. Best soccer player, you got Aitana Bontme, Spain/Barcelona, Erling Haaland, Norway, Manchester City, Lionel Messi, Argentina and PSG, and Sophia Smith, U.S. Women's National Team, Portland Thorn. And sure, I was going to go with Sophia Smith. Like Amanda Nunes, I do have a bit of a crush on her too. But Lionel Messi was arguably the best player last year, and winning that World Cup really solidified for him. But Sophia Smith will win another one this year. I can guarantee that in Australia, and she will be my number one. And if anyone wants to get me her jersey, I would totally love it. Or if you want to tag her on this so she can get me a jersey, that would be even better. But that's just me. We can argue about everything else later. Best golfer, you have Wyndham Clark, Nelly Korda, John Rand, and Scottie Scheffler. Again, I'm not a big golf watcher. I'm not gonna pretend to be, or I just do simple research on it. And I went with Wyndham Clark. I thought she was the best one this year. And of course, last but not least, best tennis player, you got Carlos Alcaraz, Novak Djokovic, Arena Sabalenka, and Iga Swiatek. The man that won 23 titles, record-breaking, and something that's been going on since the 1800s. Novak Djokovic. He's the best one, but Iga is easily the second pick here. Now, the only reason I didn't give it to you is because he has 23 title wins, and that's a record-breaking. Yeah, that's record-breaking, ladies and gentlemen. But let's go to the next one. Thank you for that, Panda. And of course, that is all the time that we have here today. I think the ESPYs are really fun to talk about. There's so many different winners and nominees, and in some of these nominations, I mean, you can't go wrong with either one. I think that picking one over the other, it would have been right, such as with the WNBA taking like the best breakthrough athlete, taking Kayla Clark over Angel Reese. You could have argued with that one. Or Sophia Smith over Aja Wilson. You couldn't have gone wrong with that. Again, best men's athletes, Djokovic over Lionel Messi, over Patrick Mahomes, or Aaron Judge. All great players, and the performances from Messi to Roshan to, or best record performance in Djokovic or Michaela Sharif. So I like doing this kind of shows because you explore all sports together and you learn things, such as I learned about sports with disabilities. I learned about cross-country skiing for Aaron Pike and wheelchair racing, which I didn't know that was a thing. I only thought they were trying to make fun of somebody at that point. And when I reached out, I was like, oh, no, you're being serious. This is an actual sport. It's an Olympic sport. Oh, because I've heard of sled hockey and snowboarding, but wheelchair racing, I thought they were being jerks and be like, hey, that's not funny. I mean, maybe you joke about it every now and then, just within friends, but that's not funny. But yeah, it's an actual sport. I mean, it's a legitimate sport, and I was impressed by it. And again, cross-country skiing was, it's hard enough on a person with a non-disability. So for him to do it and being one of the best at it, that's freaking amazing. So, yeah, I love this. I love doing the ESPYs. It's so much fun. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Did I pick right? Did I pick wrong? I'm sure I'm going to get some trouble for what I said about Amanda Nunes because I have a crush on her, but it is what it is. You know what? Sue me. I'm a human being. I make mistakes. I say what I say, and you don't like it. Oh, well. I'll be fine. Either ways, though, thank you so much, guys, for listening. As always, please follow us on all social media, from TikTok to Instagram to Facebook. And, of course, you can listen to the show anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time for more exciting sport news and updates. Until then, keep playing hard and staying safe out there. Bye-bye.